In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to create your own Valorant finisher with help of Blender and After Effects. Let's go! First of all, you have to prepare your footage. Then we need to track the movement. Go to the Windows tab and select Tracker. Here select Track Camera. In Advanced tab, select Detailed Analysis and wait until it's done. Now you see all these trackers. By holding left mouse button, just select some trackers to make this a circle, right mouse button and create solid end camera. Now as you can see, we have solid, which is perfectly tracked to the wall. Now open up Blender. For the next operation, you're gonna be needed AE2 Blend plugin. You can find it through the link in bio. So open up Solid Properties, Transform, and select everything except of opacity. Press Ctrl C. In Blender, select Create Plane. Now we have plane. Go back to the After Effects, select 3D Camera Tracker, open up 3D Tracker Camera, select Position and Orientation, Ctrl C. Now we have plane and camera in the scene. Select all the keyframes and move them to the frame number 1. Now go again to the After Effects, double click on camera and copy the focal length. In Blender, select Camera, go to the Camera Properties and paste your focal length, but be careful, change comma to dot, because otherwise you will get something weird like this, and you don't want that. So change comma to dot. Now go to the camera mode. As you can see, it's something similar to what we have in After Effects. But we have to make some more steps. Select your camera empty first, then with holding shift select planes empty, press Ctrl P and object keep transform. Now when you move the planes empty, you move the camera without destroying the initial keyframes. Now you can press Alt G to reset the transform and just eyeball the transformation of the plane to match it with the floor. But in our case it was wall, so rotate it by 90 degrees and once again 90 degrees along x-axis. Now we have our plane in the middle of this world. Go to the camera properties, check background images, add image, movie clip and open the clip. And open the same clip you just made in After Effects. So now you can see that our plane in Blender are matched with the solid from After Effects. To make the background image a bit more visible, you can go to the camera settings, background images and opacity, turn it to the 1. Now I recommend to not touch the initial plane just to make a backup, so Shift D, right mouse button to reset the position and turn off your initial plane. Now this plane are going to be our wall. So I want my finisher to be somewhere here. Let's move and scale this plane, something like this, but make sure you are moving the plane, not the empty. So here's our wall. Now we need to import the Omen module. The link for that you will find in the description. Just forgot to mention, you also will need to have PSK/PSA import plugin. Link for that also will be in the description. So now you just go to the file, append, and append the model. So in our case, we are going to the agents, Omen complex.blend. Go to the object and select everything and append. Select the bone structure, go to the import plugin and hit import PSA. Navigate to the same folder, but this time it's animations. Agent animations, select your agent, and in this case we have complex. And let's select idle loop. Let's see what we have. So we have our Omen staying like this and we have this animation. Now hit this icon and select non-linear animation. Hit this icon, select your bones and go to the pose mode. So at this stage you have to keyframe manually the bones you want to move to follow your idea. Select this brown bone, press I button, location and rotation. Move forward just a bit, move your bone as you want, press I, location, rotation. So what we have now, we're keeping the initial animation and adding the new animation we just created manually. Follow the same logic to get the result you want. I just scaled the bones and mesh itself, and here's the result with the plane turned on. Now hit the render mode and you will see this plane on render. Obviously we want to get rid of it. So select the plane, go to the object properties, visibility and select hold out. Now this plane works as a mask to our character. Hit this icon and go to the shader editor. In this icon select world. Here you can just add sky texture and connect it to the background. Play with these options to match our sun with initial lighting. As you can see, it plays dramatic difference how it looks at the end. In the render settings, don't forget to check the transparent box in the film tab. Now when you press F12, you will get something like this. It's just one frame, but you wanna render the animation. So just go to the render animation. Import your result from Blender to After Effects. Drag and drop your footage to the timeline and let's see what we got. Cool. Now we need to make a portal. Create uSolid, let's make it white, and let's create the shape of the portal you want it to be. Don't look at mine right now because I'm redoing it again for this tutorial, so it might be a bit ugly. Open up Solid Properties, select all of them, Ctrl+C, hit this 3D layer icon on your solid, and paste these properties. As you can see, our shape perfectly matched with the solid. Now scale and move your solid as if it's a portal behind the Omen. Move this layer down under the Omen, and now we have something like this. At this stage I'm gonna jump to my main composition where I did all my job. So I just pre-compose the portal with a camera. It's important to your layer to keep being in the 3D space. And I just put a gradient effect to the portal, radial gradient, to make this portal looks like this. Then go to the edges. Edges is also pre-composed like I did before with the portal, but this time I played a bit more with layers. So we have straight lines. It's the same layer which is affected by Sapphir's Edge Detect plugin, which detects the edge of the layer and keep only edges from the layer, and then Deep Glow to make it shine. The same story with the layer below, but here I use turbulence displays and brush strokes to make it a bit more wiggly. One more layer to make edges a bit more rough, and one more layer with different settings of turbulent displacement, roughen edges, and deep glow plugin and post-rest time. That's gonna be needed for animation, which I'm gonna explain just a bit later. I duplicated the Omens layer, used tint plugin to make it black and white, applied curves effect to make it a bit more contrast, applied turbulence displacement, then I used set matte layer, set it on itself. So as you can see, the name of this layer, Omen Edge Glow, and it says Omen Edge Glow here. It works on itself, and select invert mate, and we will have only edges of this layer. Then I used fill effect to make the color I want. Then I used simple choker just to increase the width a little bit. Deep glow and one more deep glow. And now we have edges like he's going through the portal. But as you can see, it goes everywhere on his body. It doesn't look like he's going through the specific area in the portal. So you just need to work with mask a bit on this Omen Edge Glow layer. I already did it and keyframe it. And together it looks like this. Then I also add lightnings. It's just a lightning effect which I found somewhere on my drive in the VFX folder, and you can find it everywhere on the internet. So initially it looks like this and like this. Placed it into 3D space and pre-composed it with a 3D camera like we did before, and together it looks like this. I also add particles, which is just a solid with a starburst effect. You can copy my settings if you want, and deep glow to make it shine. Placed it into the 3D scene, and we have something like this. Now let's talk about the animation. So for the portal, it just scale and opacity keyframes. So the opacity hits from 0 to 100 just in one frame, just to appear in the scene. And then scale keyframes just with only one axis to make it go from narrow to wide. Here's nothing fancy, and the same at the end. Edges animated with several components, so let's see what we have here. So the first layer, roughen edges, is animated by evolution. It's just turbulent displacement evolution, and the same scale properties as I did to the portal, so it appeared like it's opening up, and the same for the ending. You can notice that these edges are scaling up and down super fast. I created a null, then I connect this layer to the null, and the null have scale animated. So it goes from the normal size, it goes just a bit smaller, and goes back to the normal size. Then with pressing Alt, you click this stopwatch and you have to write this expression. So the scale movement from one number to another, then to the first one, looping again and again. So this is why we have this jumping effect. Also, I showed you a posterized time effect here. It creates some kind of frame drop, so the animation plays in 10 frames per second. This is similar to the portal that we have on the Ascent map. As you can see closer here, it jumps like this. So I just try to recreate the same effect. So the next layer is the same, evolution and scale. And on our next layers, only scale property is animated. So together we have something like this. So to put it all behind this curve, we need to rotoscope this. So you duplicate your main layer, select this icon, double click on your image and start selecting the zone you want to rotoscope. By holding Alt, you can delete unwanted spaces. So then you hit a spacebar and it starts calculate every frame further and behind. Then when you're done, you hit freeze button. As a result, you will have something like this. Put this layer above our effect layers so it can cover our portal. The whole tutorial might sound just a bit confusing because I'm not too often record something like that. So if you have any questions, you can leave your comment below and I'll answer it. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel and goodbye.